Hi everybody. I have a whole lot of stuff out here. I am prepping embellishments for my big assemblage board, and I just have some embossing folders. I have some dies. I just have this little Sizzix sidekick that, I mean, the opening's only 2.5 inches, so I'm kind of limited as to what I can buy to use that I like, but I've come up with a solution somewhat, so come on along and I'll show you that, and we'll make some embellishments together for my big assemblage board. Okay, so like I said, I'm kind of limited because of the width of this little sidekick, and my daughter bought me this for Christmas. It's what I asked for because I really didn't think that I would probably use a die cutting embossing machine enough to justify a bigger, more expensive machine. So I have many times wished I had a bigger, more expensive machine, or at least one that would cut bigger things. But what I have been doing is when I find these embossing folders on sale, they're like this size, right? I'm not sure how big that is, probably 4 by 6. I buy them if they're on sale and cheap, and I just cut it with regular scissors, and then I have like one that I can use as like a border embossing thing. Hang on, let's see. Well, I bought some border ones. Michael's bought out my local craft store, Pat Catan's, and so they just had, when they were doing the switchover, they had a ton of stuff on sale. So the Doris edge embossing folders, like for borders, were $1, and that gave me the idea. It's like, oh well, I could just buy a full-size one like this one that I haven't cut yet, or this one, and cut them down to fit my machine, and that way I have one that fits in the full size of my machine, and then another one that's more like a border. So that's what I did with this one with the gears. It works fine. I pulled out a couple other ones. These were already one of those that came in the 3-pack. So I have a bunch of different papers out here that I wanted to try. I have this burlap. It's got like a paper back. I'm not sure that this will go through, but I'm willing to try it. And I will eventually end up with some pieces that I can actually use for this assemblage. I don't have, yeah, that's too thick to go through. I don't have really very many dies. I have a clock. I know I have a cogwheel that I've already cut some pieces out of. So let's emboss this one. This should work. Color-wise, it's good. This is kind of a scrapbooking paper weight. Not quite cardstock weight, but okay. And sometimes I'll run it back the other way just to get a little deeper embossing. But you can see it did emboss it. So when I paint or wax or whatever on top of some of these, and I'll probably just use pieces. This is a cool, looks like a leather paper. I'm not sure where I got this. So I'm just going to cut a piece of this. And I think I will maybe also use some of this paper for cutting with some dies maybe. Let's go back the other way. Yeah, that looks good. That's nice and deep. Can definitely use that one. So I want to let's try this one. So you see I got this folder for $1. So, you know, that makes it, that's kind of cool. It makes it real easy to say, oh, well, I'm just going to cut this, and if it doesn't work, then I don't care because it was $1. 2 3/4. I thought it was 2 1/2, but I'm cutting through both layers, which might not be the smartest thing to do, but I think it's the way to get front and back straight, maybe. Okay, yay. So now I have this edge that I can use, but I also have this piece. And of course there's an edge along here and not on this side, but it doesn't really matter because however the paper comes out, and I don't even have to put paper all the way across, I'm just going to try this piece that I already embossed with the gears. So there we go. So I'm just going to make a bunch of these kinds of papers, but I wanted to show you my solution to kind of altering an embossing folder to fit the little Sizzix machine, if that's what you have. Especially when you can get them for $1. You can't do better than that for an embossing folder. I'm going to cut this one and make some of these too. So I'm just going to leave this all set aside here. And I saw the Bohemian Crafter making some really cool number embellishments. This is heavy, almost has a plastic feel. Someone sent it to me. I think Karen Bradley did in a Happy Mail. I'm going to cut a piece of this to fit. I'm going to cut some numbers out of this with the dies that I do have that came with this machine. So I have these numbers. So I'm just going to cut some of each. Just line them up here. Should probably put that plate underneath it. Makes life easier on myself for putting it in the machine. Oh, I got those upside down. Can you see this? Yes, okay. I don't know if the machine was in the way. Okay, cutting plate underneath, cutting plate on top. And it goes through hard. And sometimes makes a clicking noise that makes, hear it? Makes me think I'm breaking something, but so far nothing broke. I think it just does that. So there we have all those numbers cut out. So I will just pull those off of the dies. Can also use this as a stencil, but I will pull these off of the dies and put them in my little bin that I have started with die cuts for this assemblage. But I want to take one, let's try the 5. I want to take one and try to make one of those things that Evie showed. I think it's Evie, Bohemian Crafter. Take that one. So I'm just going to get these off and put these numbers back, and I'll be back. One more trick I learned, I don't remember from who. Fold a piece of paper and take something the size that you want to make your cog. And if you have some of these little scissors, decorative edge scissors, you can just cut it out, and then I didn't do that very well, did I? Because I'm just going to mark it by eye. I put too much onto the paper, so it's not a circle. Would have been better to draw the circle and then fold it, but you know how I do things. Anyway, we'll cut this in half and use it anyhow. But that's usable, and it's cute. See, I did some other ones. Because for this collage, I'm going to probably be stacking things. Let me do it over here where you can see. But I'll probably be stacking and overlapping pieces. You know what I mean? So, making shapes or whatever. Packaging also, this was from Tim Holtz package, you know, Prima package, I think. No, Tim Holtz. And so I just embossed 2 circles that I punched out with my circle punch. And I can cut a circle in the center, out of the center with another punch if I want to. So that's another option for my embellishments. I put all that other stuff away. Oh, and as far as packaging, I had, this was a Prima package, but I had this package out, and I thought maybe I would punch something, or rather cut something or emboss something from this packaging. But look at all the words I got off of here. And then I did, I made a little, you probably can't see it, but it's embossed right around there, so a little tag. And then a couple little tags that are embossed and cut. Well, I had the, you could see the embossing on the other side, I think. Well, I had the little Sizzix machine out, so I save a lot of packaging if I think I could possibly use that color or that word or whatever it might be, that image. I save it. That's why I have so much stuff. And then I made this the other day. This is another piece of packaging, but I just made little dots with my glue gun, and then I used some of the Artistic Painting Studios foil adhesive and covered it. And then when the adhesive was dry, I just laid down some of the Artistic Studios foil and got that cool kind of oil slick look, iridescent. So that's going in the pile with the possibilities for the big collage or the big assemblage. So what else was I gonna share with you while I was rambling around here today? Seems like there was something else. This was the thing I was telling you about that the Bohemian Crafter did. So if you have an embossing folder that does numbers, emboss your numbers. I don't, so I cut 2 numbers out and stacked them on top of each other. Then glued them to a piece of cardboard and then backed it with another piece of cardboard, so you have kind of a little recessed frame all the way around it. This one, I don't know if it's going to work, but I wanted to try it on some craft foam. So I took the waste paper that this 5 was cut out of, and just cut that out, glued it to some craft foam, and then glued it to a piece of packaging cardboard. So I'm waiting for my glue guns to, I have 2 of them sitting here. I don't know which one's going to work. I had trouble with my good one the other day. This one seems like it's going to work. Let's try this one. So what you want to do is run a bead of glue around this outside edge. So let's see how good this works. Pretty lumpy. Eva said to just straighten it out with the tip of your glue gun. I don't know. It's supposed to be like a rounded framed edge there. Well, it's not so great. I never use a glue gun, so I'm not very skilled with one. At least it's working. My bigger, more expensive glue gun gave me all kinds of trouble the other day. Okay, I don't quite think that's what it's supposed to look like. I'm going to try and smooth it out a little bit. No, it's already drying. Trying to keep my head out of the frame. Yeah, that's not very good either. Well, if I end up using these, it'll be on that big steampunk piece, and I guess that gives me some forgiveness because steampunk's pretty, that top edge is pretty good. I got a gap right there. I'll try and melt it over, but I don't know. Probably should just leave it alone. So now we need to do our metal effect on these, so I'm going to grab what I need. Alright, I went back and watched that video by Bohemian Crafter again, and I went through and trimmed off the excess that was out here beyond the hot glue. So the hot glue is right up to the edge, and then going back here on the nozzle on my glue gun, I'm just running the hot nozzle back and forth across here to smooth it out, and then kind of melting it over the edge a little bit. This is what she did, so maybe it will help my edges a bit. Now I'm going to get out the paints that I need. Okay, once again, I went back and watched. She used black Sharpie to just cover all the glued edges. So that's what I'm going to do. Evidently, maybe Sharpie sticks best to hot glue. I don't know. I'm going to link her video in the description box because I want you to see how cool hers are. She had a lot of really neat embossed pieces of ruler and numbers and letters and shapes and whatnot. So, okay, went around the edges with the Sharpie, and then I just covered it with black gesso. And then I pulled out my rust paste. Rock hard. These two, the brown and the like sienna color, are rock hard. You can see that's even cracked all the way through to the bottom. So I have burnt umber acrylic because that's the closest to the darkest of those colors, and I'm just going to pounce it on. And get a layer of brown, start our rust. And get the edges here. Okay, and I will dry that, and then we'll put on the burnt sienna. This one from the rust paste, the yellow, is nice and soft, so I don't know. I also pulled out this antiquing gel, this like patina, turquoise patina. Might use that too. And because there's hot glue around those edges, it's probably best not to dry it with the heat tool, but I'm impatient, so you know, I am. But it does re-soften that hot glue, depending on how hot your heat tool gets. So let's go with a little bit of burnt sienna. I'm just going to wipe my brush off on my baby wipe. The thing with not having the rust paste is you don't get that gritty texture. I do have some calcium carbonate. I probably could have put that. That's like ground chalk dust. I probably could have put some of that in there and got the texture I wanted, but I didn't think of it till just now. Okay, I'll dry that layer. And I'm going to go with the yellow that originally came with that rust paste set. That's a Primus set. It was a gift, and I've used it very, very little. And I can show you, not even half gone, but completely dried up. Just, I added some water to this, but it still is rock hard. It won't mix up. So if anybody knows how to soften these up to where they're usable again, I'd love to know. I'm just using the yellow kind of sparingly. And then I think I'm going to try to, yeah, that looks pretty rusty though. Huh, not bad. And that's a good thing about how sloppy this glue job was, and the fact that I didn't have embossed letters. I just had cut out letters, so I kind of, you know, improvised. Evie put jump rings in the top of hers. She sandwiched in between the two layers of cardboard so she could make dangles for her journals. You could also probably turn it into a necklace or pendant or something if you wanted to. I like this one better. I do wish I had some embossed, an embossing folder with numbers now, because I like that one better. But these will find their place onto that big assemblage that I'm going to start working on. I have just so much prep work to do. I'm trying to gather all the pieces that I want to put on it, and I had ordered some things from, where'd I get them? Retro Cafe. So those came today, so I do have some of those here, which I like, all of them. But all of the old pieces that I pulled out really need to be degreased, and I'm procrastinating and not looking forward to that process. Well, I kind of like them. I like that one. I'm leaving that one alone. And then, once that's dry, there's another product that's all dried up. This is a Deco Art Metallic Luster. Yeah, you see all the flakes falling in there. But sometimes I can get some still on my finger. And while the paint's wet, and then the paint kind of holds it. I think I'll spray these with a fixative too, just to kind of hold the luster on there. I mean, you can tell it's still waxy, it's just, yeah, see, I lost some of that. I'll go back over top of it, that'll help too. Now I think I'm going to bring some black back into it. Let that dry, and then I can go again with the yellow, and I'm going to go easier on this one, just touches, because I like the way it looks. Put this on too heavy on the other one. That's enough, I think. That one looks good. I like that one. I'm going to wait for this to dry, and then I'll just go again. So that's it for today, and check the description box down below for the link to Bohemian Crafter's video that I watched, what she did. Hers turned out way better than mine, so you might want to just follow her instructions. So thanks for joining me today. It's just been kind of a hodgepodgey day. I'm, like I said, trying to get things ready for that assemblage. So just thought I would bring you along and show you what I've been working on today. So I hope you're well. I hope you've subscribed to my channel and rang my bell. And in the meantime, go make some art. Bye.